Representative Hinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our ranking member for, again, bringing up our very important legislation that we're working on to make sure we have the resources to go after the bad actors who are continuing to undermine American manufacturing every single day. I want to talk a little bit more about that undermining and things that are happening literally in our own backyard, things that are gaining traction, including new technologies like self-driving vehicles. And this year, a company called Zoox announced plans to deploy autonomous vehicles in our nation's capital. Imagine why they'd want to be right here in Washington, D.C. Zoox uses Chinese LiDAR from a company called Hinson in these cars. And Hinson, as we know, is a Chinese military company that is listed on the Department of War's 1260H list. And it was the subject of a letter that I led to the head of NASDAQ, the chair, and the CEO about their listing on our exchanges. We want them off of those exchanges if we're going to be funneling American dollars to things that are going to continue to undermine our country. Zoox's announcement to deploy this technology right here in Washington, D.C. raises some serious questions given their Chinese-reliant technology and their data collection. So, Ms. Dzenski, what are the national security implications here of allowing this PRC-based technology to gather and process data right here in our nation's capital, and what are some safeguards that we could put in place to prevent its misuse?
Well, thanks for bringing up this example. I think it gets right to the point. As we move towards more sophisticated vehicles with the bells and whistles and features that consumers want, without controlling the technology and the supply chains associated with that, we're really at risk. And it presents a problem when we don't have these alternatives. But we need to be very, very careful about allowing this technology to operate in any way. The LiDAR is a particular example, which is concerning because of its surveillance capacity and what might be done with that data. I think we need to look at some prohibitions on this. We also need to look at what is required to bring other solutions to the market. What can we be doing to advance our own ecosystems for alternatives?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is not only how do we keep the bad actors out, but then how do we keep them out of our auto supply chain entirely? Is there any insight that you would have? Just obviously they're in the LiDAR sector, but it goes deeper than that.
Well, I think we need to look at what comes out of the connected vehicle rule and what implications that has for pushing decisions in the supply chain in a way that's more aligned with our national security. And by that I mean, how do we incentivize the private sector to either develop alternatives or look for alternatives, because it's simply too much risk to allow these into our country. The other thing we could think about is some sort of national registry, just to get a handle on what Chinese tech is coming into this country. It's something we talked about in the context of TikTok, but could be applied more broadly. I'm not sure we even know the amount of Chinese tech in our markets. So we would need to get a handle on that.
Right, we just see American-made, but it may include all of those different components that could put us at risk. I do agree we need to be concerned about the vulnerabilities that exist there, because you think about the undeniable risk of the CCP firmware that's inside our cars, our trucks, vans, as you mentioned. In the agriculture sector, big in Iowa, obviously, we've got a lot of that incorporated into our parts, and if they are able to remotely turn on and off these drones that are providing fertilizer to our fields, that's highly concerning as well. We saw that happen with some of the equipment that was stolen with the Russia and Ukraine conflict as well. So, Mr. Parton, I want to touch on something that was in your testimony, a key line that certainly made the hair on my arm stand up. But why would the CCP ever fight the U.S. when it can simply turn off their systems, right? And I think about that risk. So given China's brazen efforts to directly hack into our infrastructure, which they've done successfully, as we know, Operation Volt Typhoon and Salt Typhoon, what could a cybersecurity threat look like if our cars, our trucks, our buses, our train cars that millions of Americans use every single day are targeted and hacked?
Well, at a time of tension and war, that means your entire transport and logistics system comes to a halt, with, in effect, rendering you unable to resist whatever the Chinese are doing. I think it's as simple as that, and that is why the cellular module is absolutely crucial.
So this is a safety issue for the American people. Would you agree?
I think it's an existential issue as much as going beyond just the idea of safety. If your country is totally vulnerable to the Chinese in that scenario, that's they've won.
Scary thought. Thank you for your time to all of our witnesses, and I yield back.